The stars were calm over the human colony of Ardent 9. Ships moved between orbiting stations, and civilians went about their lives. Children laughed in the parks, merchants traded goods, and scientists monitored the skies. No one noticed the distant shadows approaching through the void. Alien warships of the Krell Empire moved with deadly precision. Their engines barely visible, their numbers overwhelming. On the surface, alarms suddenly blared, red lights flashing across the cities. Incoming fleet. Full alert, screamed Commander Lyra Valen. People froze in fear as alien ships fired their first salvo. Plasma beams cut through orbital defenses, explosions lighting the night sky. Stations were destroyed before they could even react. The Krell Empire's first strike was swift and merciless. Human soldiers rushed to their posts, but the enemy's firepower was enormous. Missiles streaked across the void, shields overloaded. Communication lines disrupted. Evacuate civilians. Protect the population. Lyra shouted. Ships tried to intercept the attackers, but Krell warships moved like predators, firing with perfect coordination. Every strike calculated to cause maximum destruction. Ardent 9 burned, fire and smoke rising from the surface, from orbit. Captain Joran Kale watched the carnage unfold. The Krell Empire believed this attack would break humanity's spirit. They think we are weak, scattered, and unprepared, he said quietly. His officers looked grim, but determination burned in their eyes. They knew humanity had endured worse and survived. Even in the face of death, humans would fight, adapt, and endure. In the city below, civilians panicked, trying to flee the chaos. Emergency shelters filled with families, fear heavy in the air. Children clung to parents as buildings shook. The human response was slow but organized. Evacuation protocols were activated. Rescue teams moved swiftly, despite the devastation. Humans refused to surrender. The alien fleet continued their attack. Confident in their power, destroyers fired on orbital stations. Carriers launched endless waves of fighters. They believed victory was inevitable. But sensors aboard human ships picked up weaknesses. Small cracks in their formation, delayed fire sequences. Captain Kale and his officers calculated every move. A plan was forming, one that would shock the Krell Empire. In the command center, Kale issued orders quietly but firmly. Hold position. Analyze enemy fleet. Identify weak points, he said. The crew worked like a single organism, scanning, calculating, preparing, though outnumbered. Humans had strategy, patience, and cunning. The galaxy had underestimated them. And the first strike, though devastating, would not end the war on the alien command bridge. Krell commanders laughed at the destruction. They will break quickly, one said, eyes filled with arrogance. But none noticed the small human fleet emerging from hidden systems. Missiles, energy beams, and warships waited in the shadows. The first strike had provoked the humans, and humanity's answer would be more than the Krell Empire could imagine. The stars burned with fire and tension. The first strike was over, but the war had only begun. Humanity had survived the initial assault, and now the galaxy would see the true power of a species that never surrenders. The first strike had awoken a force the aliens would soon regret. The destruction of Ardent 9 sent shockwaves across human space. Leaders and citizens alike mourned the lives lost, but even in the face of devastation, humans did not panic. They had prepared for this. Hidden fleets lying in wait, weapons ready, strategies perfected. Captain Joran Kale stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute. His eyes scanned the void, calm and focused. The Krell Empire thinks they have won, he said quietly. But we are ready to show them our strength in hidden star systems. Massive human warships emerged from stealth fields. Dark and deadly, engines glowing softly, weapons bristling with energy. Squadrons of fighters streaked through space. Ready to strike, the galaxy had never seen such coordination. Every vessel moved in perfect formation, anticipating attacks before they happened. Human engineers had designed these ships for survival. Speed and total destruction, every weapon, every shield. Every engine was optimized for one purpose: victory on the bridge of the flagship. Tactical officers analyzed the Krell Empire's formations, missile trajectories, shield strengths, engine patterns. Every weakness was cataloged, every move predicted. Their first strike was bold, Cale said. But it left openings we can exploit, the crew nodded. Trained for decades for this exact scenario. Even as billions of lives hung in the balance, humans remained calm and ruthless. Meanwhile, alien commanders on distant Krell ships celebrated. They are scattered, weak broken, one said. Arrogance thick in their voice, they did not notice the dark specks appearing on their sensors. The human fleet was emerging from the shadows, ready to strike at the heart of their forces. Missiles launched silently, fighters positioned to ambush. The aliens were confident, but overconfidence would be their undoing. Back on human worlds, citizens watched news feeds with hope. Families whispered prayers for the hidden fleet. Scientists and engineers explained the technology and strategies used. Humans had endured far worse than surprise attacks. They had survived harsh planets, cosmic storms, and centuries of war, and now all that experience was focused into a single, devastating retaliation. Cale's voice echoed calmly across the bridge. Prepare the first strike team. Target their forward supply lines, he said. Fighters and destroyers moved like shadows through the void. Missiles streaked silently toward alien convoys, energy beams following with deadly precision. Ships exploded, supply lines were cut, reinforcements delayed. The Krell Empire realized their advantage was slipping. Fear replacing arrogance, small skirmishes turned into chaos. As humans showed patience, cunning, and ruthlessness. This is only the beginning, Cale told his crew, eyes burning with resolve. The galaxy will learn what happens when humanity answers aggression. Every ship, every officer, every pilot knew the stakes. And the hidden might of humanity was about to change the war forever. The Krell Empire had struck first, but now they faced a force they could not ignore. A species that calculated, endured, and destroyed with precision. Humanity's hidden might was awake, and the galaxy would tremble. The human fleet moved swiftly through the void. Silent and deadly, alien scouts detected the ships too late. Alarms screaming across the Krell Empire's command centers. Captain Jorn Cale watched calmly from the bridge of the flagship Resolute. The time has come, he said softly. Eyes fixed on the enemy formations, strike with precision. Leave nothing to chance. The first targets were the alien supply lines, massive convoys carrying fuel, weapons, and reinforcements. Missiles streaked through space, explosions ripping apart enemy transports. Fighters darted between warships, striking key systems before the aliens could react. The Krell Empire scrambled to defend, but the humans anticipated every move. Every attack was calculated, every strike precise. Ships were destroyed faster than reinforcements could arrive. Panic spreading among alien crews on the flagship bridge. Tactical officers monitored the battle. Primary convoys destroyed, secondary fleets reaching. Shields at full capacity, reported Commander Reese Hawley. Cale nodded, prepared to move on their forward outposts. Leave them no safe haven, the fleet responded instantly. Weapons blazing, engines maneuvering with perfect synchronization. The aliens could not predict the human strategy. Every move countered with deadly efficiency. The counterstrike had begun. And it would not stop until the Krell Empire learned the cost of arrogance. In distant systems, human colonies watched feeds of the ongoing battles. People cheered, praying, and gasped in awe. The hidden might of humanity was becoming clear. They were not weak, they were not defenseless. They were patient, strategic, and utterly ruthless. The Krell Empire had struck first, but humanity's response would be far worse. Alien commanders tried to regroup, forming defensive lines around key outposts. Plasma cannons fired, fighters swarmed, and capital ships retaliated. But humans moved faster, struck harder, and adapted instantly. Every attack was met with countermeasures, every maneuver anticipated. The aliens began to fear the fleet they had dismissed. Panic spread, confusion replacing confidence, and morale began to crumble. Kale watched the enemy carefully, calculating the next strike. Target command nodes and communication hubs, he said. Disrupt their leadership. Cripple coordination, missiles streaked through space. Energy beams tearing apart alien vessels. Explosions rocked their formations, warships falling one by one. The counterstrike was ruthless, precise, and unstoppable. Back on the bridge, Reese Hawley spoke calmly. They thought a surprise attack would break us. But now they see the truth, he said. Kale's eyes scanned the battlefield. The galaxy will remember this moment. Every crew member knew the stakes. Every pilot executed orders with perfection. The humans were no longer reacting, they were dictating the war. And the Krell Empire would soon face a threat it could not survive as the counterstrike continued. Alien fleets retreated in disarray, supply lines cut. Outposts destroyed, morale shattered, humanity's hidden might had revealed itself fully. The stage was set for the ultimate strike. The assault on the Krell homeworld, the galaxy watched in awe and fear. And humans prepared to erase the arrogance that had dared strike first. The human fleet approached the Krell homeworld. Silent and dark in the void, massive warships glinted in the starlight. Engines humming with deadly power. Captain Joran Kale stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, eyes scanning the planet below. "This is it," he said quietly. "We strike with precision. And we erase their arrogance." Alien defenses detected the fleet and fired. Plasma beams cutting through space, missiles streaked toward the humans. But shields held, absorbing each strike. Fighters launched from orbiting carriers. But humans moved faster, dodging and countering. Every attack by the aliens was met with an equal or greater human strike. The fleet moved like a single organism, every ship in perfect synchronization. The galaxy had never seen such coordination. The Krell Empire realized too late that their arrogance had underestimated humanity. Human missiles struck energy arrays and weapon platforms. Explosions ripped through the atmosphere, fires igniting across the planet. Orbital bombardments targeted military installations, fleet command centers, and supply depots. Alien panic spread as humans systematically dismantled defenses. Evacuation attempts failed. Command structures collapsed. The Krell Empire had struck first, but humanity's retaliation was absolute. On the flagship, Kale observed the devastation calmly. "Target the planetary core," he ordered. "Ensure they understand the cost of attacking us." Massive energy beams focused on the planet. Cutting through the crust, tectonic shifts spread across the surface. Mountains crumbling, oceans boiling. Cities burned in brilliant explosions, smoke and fire visible from orbit. The aliens could only watch in horror as their homeworld fell into ruin. The battle in orbit continued, smaller ships and carriers destroyed to prevent escape. The human fleet struck with precision, leaving no chance for retaliation. Every command node, every key installation, every defensive platform was eliminated. The planet's surface fractured under the relentless assault. Alien leaders on orbiting platforms shouted orders, but chaos had overtaken them. Their arrogance had blinded them to the true might of humanity. And now, they were paying the ultimate price. From distant human worlds, the galaxy watched the destruction. A mixture of awe, fear, and relief filled the colonies. Humanity had endured the first strike, and their counterattack was decisive. The Krell Empire would not rise again in the same way. Humans had erased their homeworld, sending a message across the stars. The galaxy would never again doubt the ruthlessness and power of humanity. Kale looked at the remnants of the Krell fleet, now scattered and broken. "This is what happens when our people are attacked," he said quietly. Crew members nodded, understanding the weight of their actions. The strike was total, but necessary. Every human aboard the fleet knew the lesson had been delivered, and the galaxy would remember it for generations. As the last explosions faded and the planet disintegrated, the human fleet regrouped, engines humming, weapons ready. The Krell Empire had struck first, but humanity had answered in a way no one could ignore. The erasure of their world was complete, and the galaxy had witnessed the true might of a species that never surrendered. Humanity had struck back, ruthless, precise, and unstoppable. The Krell Empire was broken, their homeworld erased, and their fleets scattered across the void. Captain Joran Kale stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, watching the aftermath. "Signal all human fleets," he ordered, voice calm. "Send a warning to the galaxy," crew members typed commands, sending encrypted messages to distant colonies and allies. Every human world would know the cost of attacking their species. The first strike had provoked a response that no one would forget. From orbit, the remnants of Krell warships tried to regroup. Leaders shouted orders into the void, but panic and fear dominated. They had underestimated humanity, and the lesson was clear. The humans had patience, strategy, and a ruthless will to survive and destroy. Every strike had been calculated, every move anticipated. Now, the galaxy would know that arrogance and aggression against humans came with a price. On distant human colonies, civilians watched the fleet's transmissions. Families whispered prayers of thanks, soldiers cheered in relief. The first strike had been devastating, but humanity had answered with overwhelming force. They had erased a homeworld, destroyed fleets, and shattered an empire. The galaxy began to respect and fear the species they had once thought weak. Humanity had shown that survival was only the beginning, and when provoked, they could strike with precision and utter ruthlessness. Kale turned to his officers, eyes burning with quiet determination. "We will remain vigilant," he said. "Our enemies will test us again." "And we must be ready," Rhys-Holland nodded. "The warning is sent, the message is clear, and humanity stands unbroken." The crew understood the weight of their actions, the power of restraint and retaliation. The galaxy had seen a species that could endure unimaginable loss and still fight back. No one would dare underestimate humans again. Not after what had just happened from the ruins of the Krell homeworld. Survivors fled to distant systems. They spread tales of human ruthlessness, precision, and unstoppable force. Whispers traveled from star to star. "Do not strike first, or humanity will erase you." The galaxy trembled at the realization that humans were not only survivors, they were hunters, warriors, and strategists. A species forged by adversity, patience, and deadly efficiency. And their warning was clear. The next provocation would be met with even greater force. The human fleet regrouped in orbit, engines glowing softly. Shields still active, Kale looked at the void. Knowing the galaxy had changed forever, "The first strike has ended," he said. "But our vigilance continues." Every officer understood their duty. Every pilot ready for the next battle. The galaxy had seen the power of humanity unleashed. and they would remember the warning for centuries. As the fleet departed the ruins of the destroyed planet, colonies celebrated, soldiers rested, and humanity's message spread. The Krell Empire would never forget the price of arrogance. The galaxy would remember that humanity, patient, strategic, and ruthless, could strike with devastating force. The warning was clear, the lesson delivered, and humanity returned to the stars, ready for whatever threat might come next. The galaxy had learned the true meaning of human power, and the name of humanity would echo through the stars forever.